Hi, welcome to the week 2 of Gen AI for IT professionals, and in this week, let's concentrate on conversational models. So, we will be understanding the basics of conversational models, and then we will discuss some of the features. We'll also talk about some of the main players here, and last but not least, we will be looking at some of the pitfalls of conversational models as well. Let's begin. Okay, so what are conversational systems? So these are AI powered systems which are designed to simulate human like conversation. So they use NLP or natural language processing to understand the context, craft a response, and interact with people. Think about examples like ChatGPT or Gemini, where you can brainstorm an idea, start writing codes with their help. All these are examples for conversational systems. The truly powerful feature that makes them so interesting is that they learn from billions of words which are generated by humans, and they adopt and they come up with the right response for each of the input that you are giving. Okay, so what are some of the advantages of using these conversational models? Starting with efficiency, they help you to save a lot of time. Think about ChatGPT. All the repetitive tasks that you're doing, for example, writing an email, summarizing text, can be done with ChatGPT, saving a lot of time for you. And the second thing will be accessibility. All these models are available 24/7, so anytime you need, they are there. And the next thing will be personalization. So when you start interacting with these conversational models, their responses will be tailor-made for each user. So you will be getting a personalized response from them. And last but not least, scalability. So these models are not limited to answering questions which are in a sentence or two. The more information you have, you can pour it to them. Of course, there are pricing considerations, but depending on the input, this conversational models can really scale up and give you answers in no time. Okay, now what are some of the common players in this area? Most of you might have heard about them or used them, but starting with ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is developed by OpenAI, and probably this is one of the most widely used conversational model. It is known for very good at handling day-to-day tasks, right? Writing emails or summarizing text, even developing code, right? And one of the other advantage of ChatGPT is its integration with other tools in the ecosystem. Now, a direct competitor to ChatGPT might be the Gemini AI developed by Google's DeepMind, right? And one of the advantage of using a Gemini AI is that it can process complex information and give you results. So it is very good at processing complex information and synthesizing the result, and that can be sort of like a USP. So it is typically used for advanced reasoning and these kind of things. A third player, probably a very recent player, is this Claude. So Claude is from this company called Anthropic, and they believe in something called ethical AI, right? So ethical AI is where, if you are a company, you are concerned about data privacy, data safety, etc., and then you want to use a model which is compatible with these principles, that's where Claude comes into picture. So Claude is built around this idea of ethical AI, and Claude is also very good at having long context conversations. Like if you are, let's say, troubleshooting an issue, right? Then you might want to interact with the model for quite some time, keeping a lane of long conversations, right? So Claude is very good at it. Now, these are not the only conversational models available, and there are many of them, but I just thought I will pick some of the so-called popular names and then talk about them. So even though conversational models are great, there are some pitfalls for them as well, starting with the most common one, which is called hallucination. So hallucination is where the the conversational model will make up the answer even though it is not true. So this can be very common. I remember an example. I was working on the Azure cloud platform, and I was trying to read a file, and I asked one of the conversational model to come up with the code. it created the code so perfectly that it looked like it is right out of the base code line. But then I realized that this is completely wrong. So the model hallucinated. So this can happen with a lot of things, not only with technical stuff, but there are many areas where the model hallucinate and it come up with these wrong answers so confidently that you will believe it is correct. So it is your responsibility as well to check whether the answers provided by the model is correct. But not everybody will be able to do that. So hallucination is one problem. The second problem is bias, right? So this can be bias towards the gender, the ethnicity, and problems like non-inclusion. Let me give you an example. When a popular conversational model was asked about a nurse, it started responding with a she. Now, a nurse can be male or female, right? But the conversational model has understood and it had a bias towards the female gender. So it addressed it as she without the person telling whether it is a he or she. So these kind of ethnic or gender or any other based biases can be very crucial when you are working in a project. And the other thing is the dependency on the quality input. So the model is so good only if your input is so good, right? Many a times people who do not understand how this model works will try to explain their problem statement in a very poorly way, and that will result in the output also becoming very poor. And last but not least, obviously privacy problems or privacy problems, right? So some of these models might have access to your organizational data, and that might be concerns for certain organizations. Even though there are areas where you can restrict them and say that, okay, you are not supposed to access our data. For certain use cases, this data might be required by the model to give you quality output. So you have to draw a line saying like, okay, is it fine to give the data or not give the data? So some of the organizations who are not willing to do this might suffer from the quality of the output. So data privacy concerns is always there. So the takeaway is that we have to be responsible while using these models by understanding the pitfall and drawing a solution around it. Alright, so that's a wrap for this week's video, and what we covered is we just got started with conversational models. We looked at some of the players like ChatGPT, Gemini, etc. We talked about some of their features and then their pitfalls, etc. Now next week we will get started with ChatGPT, and that will be a series of lectures where we will be covering efficient prompt engineering, how to interact with ChatGPT, some of the advanced features of ChatGPT, etc., etc. So stay tuned, and I'll see you next week. Check out the playlist here to go through the rest of the videos in the Generative AI for IT Professionals podcast series. And in case if you like this video, then please consider clicking on the like button. Also, do not forget to share this video with your friends and consider subscribing our ITversity YouTube channel. We upload tech content on a very regular basis in our YouTube channel. So click on the bell icon so that you will be notified whenever a new video is uploaded. Thank you.